Hello everyone! Today I am going to be talking about all of my go-to authors. So this could be authors that I've read all of the books, or authors that if I'm in a bit of a reading slump I know I can go to and try and be out of the reading slump because of them. It doesn't necessarily mean I've read all of the books for each of the authors. Some of them I have, some of them I haven't. But these are just authors I know I can rely on to give me a good reading experience and get me out of reading slumps. Or they could just be easier books that I know I can fly through if I don't have that much time. So the first author I'm going to talk about is Rainbow Rowell. I love Rainbow Rowell. She has wrote Eleanor and Park, Attachments, Landline, Fangirl and Carry On. Don't think I forgot any there. She is basically the author I go to if I need a fast-paced book, something with a bit of character development. Her writing style I absolutely love. I also love the connections that the characters usually have in her stories, and she just has really humorous writing sometimes. Her dialogue is absolutely fantastic. I think that's probably one of the main reasons I love her writing style so much, because of her dialogue. It is just brilliant. I also find I get really attached to some of Rainbow Rowell's characters. For example, Eleanor and Park I absolutely love. I give that book 5 stars, and I really need another Eleanor and Park book because I can't deal with it ending there. I need more stories from them characters because they're just so brilliant. The second author I'm going to be talking about is Giovanna Fletcher. She is a fairly new author, and she has written things like Billy and Me, Christmas with Billy and Me, which is the novella, Dream a Little Dream, Dream a Little Christmas Dream, which is the novella again, and also You're the One That I Want. And she has another book coming out this year as well. I think it's this year, so I'm super excited about that. Giovanna's books are just so lovely to read. The locations she creates, especially in Billy and Me with the little cafe and things like that, the little coffee shop, is just so cute. I absolutely love her locations, and she describes them in her writing so well, so I can get a really good image in my head when I'm reading. Her characters are all always so likeable as well. Like, I really want a lot of them to be like my friends in real life. I know they're not real, but I really want them to be. They are just so brilliantly developed all the way through, and I really enjoy reading about them. The romance aspects to her books are also so lovely. They're not too forced or anything like that. They're not, you know, really over the top and cheesy. They're just really sweet, so that's another reason I really like her. And finally, I always want another book after I've read one of her books. So like, for instance, Billy and Me, which is getting another book. Her characters are always so amazing, so after I've read one of her books I just need more stories from them characters. A bit like what I said for Rainbow Rowell and Eleanor and Park. It's the same situation with Giovanna. I absolutely love her characters and I just want more stories from all of them. Another author I tend to fall back to if I'm in a bit of a reading slump is Nicholas Sparks. He's written things like The Notebook, The Choice, Dear John, Safe Haven. Safe Haven's my favourite. And many more books, absolutely tons of them. So I love Nicholas Sparks, and I've read quite a lot of his books. I do really like the romance aspect in his stories as well. His tend to be a lot more descriptive, and that's fine. And I really enjoy the characters in his books as well. I really got attached to the characters in Safe Haven, especially the 2 kids in Safe Haven. So when I read the ending to that book, it scared me so much. I was like, oh my god, everyone has to be okay. I can't deal with anything bad happening now. And that leads me on to my next point about Nicholas Sparks' books. His endings are always absolutely amazing. Like, I cannot fault his endings. They are so good. I just really enjoy his writing, and I really enjoy the endings to his books. I love the romance in the stories, and they're just really simple to read as well. So if you haven't got that much time, they're really great ones to pick up if you just need a quick read. Another author I like to fall back to, but not necessarily if I haven't got much time on my hands because her books are quite big, is Kate Morton. She's written things like The Forgotten Garden, The Secret Keeper, which I haven't read yet but I'm planning on doing soon. It's been in my last 2 TBRs now and I still don't think I'm going to get it read by the end of the month. And also The Distant Hours, which I read last year, which I thought was fantastic. That's just to name a few. She has written loads of other books as well. Like I said before, I don't necessarily recommend this if you haven't got lots of time because her books are quite big, but I do recommend if you love historical fiction. Her writing is absolutely fantastic. I also really like the way she structures her books because it goes between different time zones and different characters. So like say if you've got one character at the beginning from 1962, then there'll be another chapter next which is from their daughter or son's point of view in 2005. And that's the kind of way she writes, and I really enjoy that, and by the end everything just comes together and you find out loads of information about all of the different characters. There's always quite a lot of mystery to her books, which I really enjoy, and I just love her locations. She writes her locations so well. I cannot fault them. I get a brilliant image in my head every time I read her writing about her locations. It's so descriptive, so well explained, and I just want to go to all of the places I have read in her books. I'm praying they're real, and I'm not convinced they are. And the final author I'm going to talk about is a much more well-known author, and that is John Green. He's written obviously The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherines, and he's also co-written a lot of work as well with the likes of David Levithan and many other authors, and he is just brilliant at writing. He writes about quite sensitive topics a lot of the time, so like for instance in The Fault in Our Stars it's about cancer patients and things like that, and it's just really quite touching. Yet even though it's about quite sad topics, some of his books, he writes them so well that you're actually laughing some of the time through the book, and that sounds awful, but his writing is so humorous and his characters are so funny. You can't help but laugh, and it brings a really nice, relaxing aspect to his books as well, because they're just so well written. His character development is also absolutely fantastic. Like at the beginning of the book, you kind of just get to know the character a little bit. By the middle of the book, you think you're best friends with some of them. Like, it's incredible how much you find out about his characters and how in depth he goes about his characters. This, for instance, in Looking for Alaska was one of the main ones I can think of. Alaska was a bit of a funny character to start with, and you're like, who is she? Why is she behaving in the way she does? And then all of a sudden you just kind of click and you're like, oh, that's why, like that's why she is how she is, and I really like her for it. I love Looking for Alaska. It's probably my favourite John Green book. His books are always so easy to understand as well. Like, you don't need to use your brain that much when you're reading them, which is brilliant for a quick read. So yeah, again, if you don't have much time and you need a quick read, I would definitely recommend John Green's books. I read Paper Towns on the way to LA last year in the summer, and I just flew through it. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. So that is it for my go-to authors. Let me know down below who your go-to authors are, and maybe I can check some of them out too, because that would be awesome. As well, I always forget to mention in my videos, all of my social media links are in the description below, so you can go check them out. I have a book blog, I have Goodreads, I have a Twitter, and I have a Facebook page for my book stuff as well. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye!